Hi, I'm Joe Saunders of Miniature Landscape Hobbies, and in this episode we're going to review a set of paintbrushes that are designed specifically for miniature painting. This set is by Golden Maple. Is this something you would want for your miniature painting toolkit? Let's find out together. Miniature Landscape Hobbies is proudly supported by these sponsors. Brushes are about as important a part of miniature gaming as you can get. With the exception of the miniatures themselves, paintbrushes are the main tool in your model building arsenal. Despite this, I don't really have a specific preference. Well, until now. I have 30 years of experience as a model painter, and I've worked with Winsor & Newton's sable brushes, cheap dollar store brushes, and everything in between, and I've found pros and cons to each of these. On the cheap dollar store side, the brushes have one pro. They're inexpensive, and you can buy huge numbers of them and treat them almost as though they're disposable. Unfortunately, though, these brushes also don't hold a point, usually shed bristles like a Labrador Retriever, and the trade-offs to make them cheap show. Beyond this, a lot of experienced painters will get an intuitive feel for how a certain brush works, its own artistic personality, if you will. But if you go with the disposable route, you're just going to miss out on this. I have also turned to the name brand miniature painting brushes in the past, from companies like Tamiya, AK, and the Army Painter. And these are a passable option, but not my favorite. Generally, the quality is better than the cheapo option, but I find the results can be hit and miss. Now, a good artist can spot a decent brush, and I'm not pointing any fingers here, but I find it likely that a lot of these brand names are just the cheap variety, stamped with a new logo, and marked up to a higher price accordingly. There are exceptions here, mind you, but why take the risk? Then lastly we have the high-end brushes. These are usually natural fibers, like sable hair, and generally hold an excellent tip, provide great coverage, and have everything you would want. But they are pricey. Now you get what you pay for, mind you, but I find that the discipline of painting in miniature in general and wargaming in particular is just too abusive on your brushes to justify piling up the expense of maintaining a stable of the high-end option. This is primarily because we tend to paint large numbers of models in batches, which means paint can have time to dry on bristles, and this also puts hobbyists on a schedule, trying to produce a particular unit or group of models before the next big game. So let's admit it, taking time to carefully wash each brush between colors or coats just doesn't really happen. I think it's safe to assume I'm not the only one who dunks a loaded brush in my water and quickly wipes it off to clean it. And using brush conditioning soaps and taking the time to make sure the paint doesn't make it to the ferrule, well, don't make me laugh. So this brings me back to brushes of intermediate quality. As I said, the name brands can be hit and miss, so when I find a good option at this price point, this is where I spend my money. But there's a secondary concern here: availability. Unsurprisingly, painting miniatures, whether they're of the wargaming variety or not, requires specialized smaller brushes. Brushes in sizes that may just not be easy to find. I don't need to tell you how many times I've had to go to one store for a 000 and then another for a medium-sized dry brushing brush. Hunting for the right type of brush just seems to be the lot in life of a miniature artist, I guess. Although I know some truly excellent local game stores that can mitigate this. So it was in this situation that I found myself being contacted by Golden Maple paintbrushes. This company makes a wide range of brushes and was curious if I'd like to review them on my channel. Of course I was interested, but I did not expect to find this: a wide range of brushes specifically for miniature painting. in particular their 18-piece micro detail and dry brush kit. This looked great. At $44 for 18 brushes, this set appeared to encompass the core range of miniature brushes and had an attractive moderate price point that I like. So I took Golden Maple up on their offer and ordered this set. Let's use the rest of this video to take a closer look. Since I live in Canada and Golden Maple isn't a domestic company, it took a while for the brushes to arrive. But when they did, they came in this nifty rollout bag complete with specific loops to retain the brushes. This was a nice touch, but let's face it, the brushes probably are rarely going to go back in the bag. That being said, if you're a traveling painter, this would be a cool carrying case, and somehow unrolling the bag just makes you feel more professional. Anyway, the real attraction is of course the brushes themselves. Inside you get a flat number 3, 2 each of 00, 000, and quadruple 0, and detail brushes in 0, 1, 2, and 3. These are all nylon, so synthetic. And if that means anything, it says Japanese nylon. I guess that's better than nylon from other countries. This is the right mix of sizes as far as I'm concerned. Getting 2 of each of the major brush sizes gives you 1 to use and 1 to keep in reserve as well. There is also 1 small, 1 medium, and 1 large dry brushing brush in the kit, and it says they're made of sheep's wool bristles. Although the image says goat hair, so I'm not sure if the product description or the image is correct, but really doesn't matter. At this point in my usual review videos, I would usually take the product and begin putting it through its paces, detailing several different experiments. But in this case, I won't get so granular. Why? Well, because these brushes did exactly what they should. They applied my colors evenly and accurately with a nice point and durable bristles that kept up with my fast-paced painting schedule. They worked great on acrylics, inks, enamels, you name it, and they did it. One thing I need to touch on though is I'm a massive fan of Army Painter speed paints, but these can often be a little hard to use as they work better on larger brushes. This is because to get a good zenithal effect, more paint needs to be deposited than with regular acrylics. And to my happy surprise, these Golden Maple brushes just kept soaking the speed paint up and laying it down, usually with great accuracy too. Now don't get me wrong, these brushes are still like other brushes, they wear out, but at $44 per set, I don't find it painful to throw them away after they're well worn, unlike say if they were by Winsor Newton. A few specific brushes in the kit do deserve some honorable mentions. The 3 dry brushes are great. These are sometimes hard to find in my area, so getting the 3 main sizes in one spot was really appreciated. Now, if you do a lot of dry brushing, you know that the brushes you get for this purpose have it really rough, literally, as dry brushing beats up the bristles pretty fast. They wear out and shed bristles after only a couple of jobs. My Golden Maple brushes, though, they're a few months in now, and they're still going strong. Lastly, I also want to talk about the flat number 3 brush. I've never used a brush shaped like this before. I've used lots of flats, but this one tapers. Not to a point, but more to a smaller end, like a chisel tip. I figured this would probably be left in my carrying bag never to be used, but I actually used it a ton. In fact, it was the first brush in the set to wear out. Not because of bad quality though, but just because I used it so much. It doesn't owe me anything. Why did the number 3 flat get so much use? Well, I make tons of terrain with stone texture, and I'm forever painting between the stone blocks. And this uniquely shaped brush is just perfect for this. I'll certainly be getting more like this in the future. Now, before we wrap things up, I do always talk about the cons of the products I review, so I do need to mention a few things. First, this kit is supposed to be a one-stop purchase for the miniature painter, making acquiring the necessary tools for the hobby super easy. And for the most part, it does this, except I do think that both a larger flat and rounded tip brush with a lot of belly to it to hold paint should be in this kit, and they just aren't. These sort of brushes are essential for zenithal paints like speed paints or citadel contrast paint, so any comprehensive set of miniature brushes really should have these. These brushes, of course, would also be invaluable for making terrain. Second, all of the fine brushes have the flared triangular handle design, but unfortunately, some people just don't like this. I do know a few painters out there that won't touch anything other than a round handle, so if you're one of these people, these brushes might not be for you. So with these minor issues aside, should you run out and buy these brushes? The answer, in all honesty, is yes. These are great bang for your buck and could keep up with my workload, so they'll likely suit you just fine. Now, if you think you might want to get this set or any Golden Maple product for yourself, let me provide you with two options. First, I do have an affiliate link for their products in the video description, so if you want to support my channel, please consider purchasing this set or any other Golden Maple product from the link below. While you're checking out, be sure to enter J Saunders as a coupon code to receive 10% off your order. This is my way of saying thanks for your interest in my YouTube channel. Second, I'm indebted to many friendly local game stores. These are, after all, the lifeblood of my hobby, and I'm pretty sure Golden Maple will wholesale to smaller businesses. So you can keep an eye out for these brushes at your favorite shop. That's it for this episode. Thanks for watching. I'll be back soon with more miniature building, painting, and wargaming content. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. But most importantly, please remember to keep building life in miniature.